background, then I'll talk about coding, what are the purpose and benefits of coding, what are the various types of coding, coding process, how it works, and what are the various tools and software that we can use for coding, and finally we're going to conclude it. Now, when you talk about the coding in the, especially in the qualitative research, you can say it is a process of identifying labeling segments of qualitative data. Now, for example, you already have taken interviews, you took focus group transcripts have been there, field notes have been there, textual data you already having, right? Now that represent the important themes, patterns, or concept, all right? And that is why we are taking interviews and everything. Now it involves that, okay, are there any commonalities or are there certain similarities you can say, and what are the differences? And then we try to, you can say, identify you can say the themes that are emerging out of the data, right? And basically the process involves assigning a word, you can say, or a phrase or a code to chunks of data that are conceptually related to each other. So we used to do first order coding, then second order, and then we used to come to the final order. Now, what is the purpose of coding, for example? Now, the first thing is we need to organize, and because we want to categorize the large volumes of qualitative data, that is how we used to do coding. That's first thing. Second, there is a possibility that there are a lot many themes which are recurring in nature. So are there any recurring themes, or are there any particular ideas you can say, or are there any particular patterns which are emerging from the data? So coding helps us to understand that, okay, what are the recurring themes, to identify the ideas that have been emerging, and what are the patterns that have been there. Now it is also helping me to facilitate, you can say, and interpret an analysis of the data. Now ultimately, because now I've taken interview, right? I've talked to the people, I recorded their responses. Now what next? Now the next thing is coding. So that whatever the data is speaking, what is the underlying phenomena? What kind of, you can say, the things people are talking about? Are there any similarities? Are there certain patterns to it? Are there certain ideas which have been hidden? So we're going to discuss and talk about that particular part, right? So facilitate interpretation and the analysis of the data. So this is the purpose, you can say, largely for the coding part. Now, in this also, we are generally using, you can say, the deductive and inductive process. Now, when we are talking about the deductive approach, you can say, so we are having a large number of data already, right? So this, and we want to, and there's a social phenomenon that has been observed. Now, a theory is developed to explain why it is occurred. So largely for the grounded theory, we are using this particular, you can say, method. A theory is developed to explain why a particular phenomena is occurring. Now, for example, uh, like COVID, when the COVID appeared in 2019-20 until 2021, 22. So we have seen that there are certain behavior of the people, that, okay, what kind of behaviors they got into, so that they can avoid, you can say, the infection of COVID, for example, right? And so what you can say, so if somewhere we would want to understand what is the underlying phenomena, right? So we could see that, okay, now you can say the reputation, for example, we want to understand that, okay, uh, how you can say the people who are staying abroad, they perceive, you can say, the image, or you can say the brand image of the nation as India. Have they seen any change, right? And so what kind of things are coming up? There can be a number of things. So we have seen that, okay, now people are moving towards, you can say, sustainable fashion. So what is the reason for that? Why are they moving towards it? All right. So somewhere we are trying to, the theory is tested through research, and the theory is either accepted, rejected, or revised. And that is why we are using a deductive approach. That's first thing. Second is your inductive approach. That is from specific to very, very general, you can say. A social phenomena is observed, definitely in both. So what you are doing, you are collecting the data. Data is collected on the possible reasons, that, okay, why it occurs, and trends in data that has been examined. And then we are trying to, a theory is developed from the data to explain the social phenomena. So that is also, so these are two approaches, right, which we are using, you can say, in the qualitative approach to You can say to understand the phenomena. Yeah. Understand the phenomena why such things are happening. Now, how this process actually works. Okay. So how this process is working. So inductive coding. So already we are having a theory. Like largely that is what we are doing in the quantitative research. We are taking a particular theory as a base. So we are curating a particular hypothesis. There are certain observations which have been coming. With the help of analysis, you can say we try to confirm the hypothesis that we have created, and then we test the theory. So we can revise, we can accept, or we can reject, or we can add some newness to it, novelty to it. So this is best for the first sort of analysis largely when you talk about the inductive coding, right? Now determine tags as you go along. So now you keep on naming it. जिसे हम कहते हैं labeling. So we keep on labeling it as we go simultaneously. Now this is actually a lengthier process because the coding is not that simple. Because somewhere you have to understand that okay, if it is not done properly, so your entire analysis can go for a toss. Second is a deductive coding, which we discussed earlier. So see, you're having a lot of information that you have collected. You have identified a certain kind of a pattern has been there. Hypothesis has been created, and finally a theory emerges out of it. Now, this is best for subsequent round of analysis. And why what we are doing using a predetermined set of tags, and this is as you can say somewhat a quicker process. That is what when we are going for the deductive coding. So now there can be a question that can we use inductive and deductive coding both at once in a paper? We can do that, but depending upon the kind of research objectives that you are having. Now, example is for you can see here, code is teaching, science, and mentoring, right? Now, part definition is participant describes their increase in teaching or instructional gains. Now, what is the purpose and meaning of this particular code? Now, the identifying the TAs, you can say the teaching or instructional gains from the course. Did the TAs gain knowledge in teaching? In vivo description could be, I truly got to learn about how to better my teaching styles and adjust to various individuals' levels of science. Now, see, this is the description that is being given, or you can say this is a kind of a verbatim which is already been there. So, similarly, we are having a similar kind of other verbatims also. So, when we club it, that means there is one particular code that has emerged. That is first is your teaching. Second, participant describes their increase in science content and process gains. Now, identifying the TA science content and process gains from the course. That another question is, did the TAs gain science knowledge? So you can say this is a research question. So I'm also pleased that I am much more comfortable microscopy and I got to learn about Wisconsin fast plants, Juglon, and a little about what the other groups did. Now, third part, you can say mentoring. Participant described an increase in mentoring gains. So three types of gains we are talking here about. Instructional gains. You can say the second is the science and the process gain. The third is the mentoring gains. Now identifying the TA's mentoring gains from the course. So they are doing certain course and you would like to study that are there any kind of process gains, you can say any benefit to the TAs. Now see, the TAs you can say gain mentoring or knowledge or skill, that is the teaching assistants. Now, and you can see, I like how the instructor would set up an experiment or question for us and show us to how walk the students through it by example. I thought this was a really great way to introduce us to important mentoring ideas. Now see, I'm having a code, I'm defining it, I'm giving a meaning to a code, what I'm actually talking about. And these are the verbatims which are actually justifying it, okay, why I'm taking a particular code. This is just an example. So whenever I am saying, okay, this is the code that has emerged from the data, all right, or this is a particular construct, or this is a particular theme that has emerged. So I have to, you can say, validate it with the help of the verbatims which have been there of the participants, or you can say of the respondents. Any questions up till here, please? No, no, no. It's you can say it can be. Description could be, you can say, the verbatims, and the verbatims we are generally getting from the participants' interviews. It's not coming from, you can say, en vivo, because when you talk about the transcriptions, I'll show you that how transcripts look like and how it has been done, right? Okay, do we have theory before in an inductive? See, it depends that what kind of paper you are working upon. So if you have seen my paper on maternity benefit, so in that I have used, you can say, social exchange theory. That means already I am having a theory as my base, which I have tried to integrate with, you can say, with my qualitative research, and that is what I'm trying to do it. So somewhere I am not going to propose any theory. It's no, I'm not doing any grounded theory. Grounded theory research is not there. I'm simply just trying to, you can say, I'm trying to use a particular existing theory, all right, and just to gain the new insights to make it more relevant, you can say. And we have seen that in the maternity paper that the social exchange theory has actually fitted it very well, and it has helped us to understand and gain the new insights, right? So you can say I can go for deductive approach here. Okay. Do we have the theory before? It all depends both. If you're going for the grounded theory research, for example, the theory emerges at the last, right? Okay, inductive coding leads to theory and deductive coding is based on the previous research. Yes. Statistical hypothesis testing essential? No. In qualitative, we never used to go for statistical analysis because your data is non-numerical. Now, how can you run statistical? Meaning of TA is teaching assistants here. This is one example that I have taken here. Coding will prepare after the transcript? Yes. So first you should have the transcripts with you, right? Now, for example, you are having audio recordings. Now, what you are doing is when you are converting the audio recordings to the, you can say, to a document, you can say. I will show you how it has been there, right? Do we set hypothesis or assumption? Assumption, you can say the research question. So largely when we talk about the qualitative researches, we are actually having, you can say, the research questions. We generally don't call them as an hypothesis, right? Hypotheses are largely being formulated, you can say, for the quantitative studies, right? Any other questions? Okay, that's it. Very good. Now, how coding is done? Now, first of all, you have to, what are the process? And please just pay attention a lot from here onwards. Now, first is, as a researcher, you need to be very much familiar with the data. And that is the first step, that is data familiarization. Now, read and reread the data to gain an in-depth understanding. Now, what is happening? You already have prepared a questionnaire, you have done the interviews, you have talked to so many respondents. So almost you can say half of the analysis is there in your mind. That okay, largely what people are talking about, what are the themes, you can say, what are the similarities that what are the largely things they're talking about. So you can easily identify that okay, what are the largely, you can say, the similar patterns that are emerging from the interviews. But still, you cannot come to that conclusion very fast. What you have to done once your interviews have been done and your transcripts are ready with you, read and reread the data again for an in-depth understanding. Because till the time you are familiar with the data, you will not going to do the thematic analysis properly. You can't identify the patterns properly, and you can't even get the codes properly. Now for that, what I'm supposed to do, I have to take initial notes to identify key ideas or concepts. So that is known as first order coding. Now what I'm doing, now for example, you are 2 or 3 people who are doing. So now you all three are doing, you can say coding differently, right? So you have taken, you are going through a particular uh, into a transcript and you're reading it. So you got to know that, okay, what there are certain, the questions are same for everyone, but you can see the responses are very, very different. So what you are doing, you are taking your initial note that, okay, what participant one has largely talked about, what kind of things has emerged from his interview, or you can say from his transcript. So you are noting it down. All right, whatever and whatever you can say the codes that are emerging, you can say, all right, or the themes or patterns are emerging, you just keep on noting it down. This is not final, this is the very first step. Now generating initial codes. Now, for example, you are able to identify certain, you can say, ideas or the concepts that you can see. Now, what you are trying to do, Now you can see, are there any certain things that can be clubbed together, for example? So we are now trying to assign descriptive levels that, for example, people are talking about, I will show you one. There's a one paper which we are working upon that is about the sustainable fashion. Now, in that, I will show you how it has emerged over the period of time, and then you will be able to understand it properly. So what I'm doing, I am trying to assign a descriptive levels. For example, eco-conscious, concern for animals, concern for environment. I'm just giving you an example, for example, right? So what you're doing, you're assigning the descriptive levels to the relevant portion of the data, whatever has been there. So you're just making it down for all the transcripts that you are having, and that has to be done in a detailed manner. Now, codes, it can be words, as I told you, eco-conscious, sustainable, motivational. It could be or it could be like, for example, if I talk about that, okay, fear of retaliation, it could be a kind of a small sentence that could be there. It could be a phrase. It could be a category that you would like to go. Like, for example, if you have seen most of the papers. So if I say that, okay, motivators and demotivators. So these are the largely two broader themes. And the two broader themes, what I'm trying to do, I am putting the rest of the factors. Like, for example, I'll give you from my research itself that, okay, what are the reasons that people are actually, like I told you about my research on nurses about their whistleblowing intentions. So I want to study two things. What are the motivators and what are the demotivators? So which are the two large categories, motivators and second is demotivators. So what comes under motivators? And then what comes under demotivators? I have to put those words, phrases, or categories that I can put in that particular category. So I am having two categories here largely, for example, motivators, demotivators, and then whatever the fits in the motivators category, I'm trying to put it initially, and whatever is trying to get put in into demotivator is getting fulfilled over there, right? Now what I'm doing, that process is done. Initial coding you have done. Now you're reviewing and refining the codes. Okay, now you can see that, okay, there are a lot many 10 motivators that are emerging and 10 you can say demotivators that are emerging. So let's go for first motivators. So can we see that, okay, there are 15 or 10 or 15 motivators that are emerging. Are there certain codes that can be clubbed together? Are there any similarities? That means, can we club them? Grouping similar codes together to create categories. Now, for example, there might be an overlap. So what we are supposed to do when we are reviewing and refining the codes, then we are eliminating or we are merging, you can say, the overlapping codes so that we can refine the coding process. Any questions up till here, please? These three steps are clear. Don't worry, I will just do it with the help of example also. But theoretically, is it clear to everyone? You can just put it in a chat window, please. All right. So now, when we are moving ahead, identifying the themes. Now, what you are doing, once you have done that, now the fourth process is identifying themes, that is looking for the patterns. And you can say the relationship between the codes to form broader themes. And we keep on doing it till the time we are moving towards the final themes, you can say. Now you are trying to develop a thematic framework so that you can describe the major findings. All right, developing a thematic framework to describe the major findings. And once the last step would be review and validation. So revisit codes and themes to ensure consistency and reliability. How it will be done? Now, for example, reviewer one, researcher one has done coding on his own. Researcher two has also done coding on his own, and then three. And then what are you doing? When then you are sitting together, and then you are seeing that, okay, are there any commonalities which has been there, right? Are there any commonalities which is emerging? Are there some consistency over there? And then we keep on we keep the one which are, you can say, which are regular, you can say, which are merging with each other, all right, and the common themes, and which can be clubbed together, and this process keeps on moving till the time we come to the final theme. So what we can do, see, peer review or triangulate the data for validation, this हम कहते हैं data triangulation. All right, this is data triangulation, जहाँ पे दो या तीन आपके जो रिव्यूअर रिसर्चर्स हैं वो सेपरेट कोडिंग करते हैं. और आपने देखा होगा इन माय पेपर्स आल्सो, इफ यू हैव रेड दिस पर्टिकुलर coding wala thing, that means the research methodology section, there we have seen that all the researchers have coded separately. And when we are doing that, then we used to sit for consistency to see the final codes that are emerging. Now, this is what we are supposed to do. This is the final categorized coding system. Now, the first is focus group you have done. So, you got the list of main topics. Once, then you come to the individual interview. So, focus group आपने किया उसमें 8 से 10 लोग थे. And from those 10 to 12 people, now you are having individual interviews. Now you are already having. Now you are having transcription of the individual. For every individual, for example, you are having 15 respondents. So that means 15 transcripts you are having from those interviews. Now you are making notes from the individual interviews. That means the notes that you have prepared. Now codification by expert one, as you could see that I have told earlier. First tentative coding system, individual interviews coded by expert one, and then individual experts coded by expert two and expert three. Now see, transcripts are same for all the three, but definitely their analysis, their understanding could be different. So once they have done the coding on their own, then they try to map it. Now, individual refinement of the codification by all and reviewed by all experts, as you could see. Now, refinement of the codification done by the other expert. Now, 1, 2, 3, they have done separately. Now, these all three are coming together. That was individual interviews coded and reviewed by, you can say, expert 2 and by all expert. Then finally you get the filtered, you can say the codes. And then second is second tentative coding system you have arrived to. Finally, you are able to get the classification. All right. And that classification then finally lead to final categorized coding system. I hope this process is simple and understood. Please just put in a chat window if you have understood this process. Or if any doubt is there in this particular, you can say flow chart. Nolak, just wait, right? We have to go one by one, step by step. Don't hush. Okay, what if only one investigator is coding and there is no expert 2 and 3? Okay, but still what you can do, you can both expert. Both expert can be the person who you can say who's your co-author, you can say, or the person who's doing the research with you. Or for example, you might be having some mentor or you might be having some other co-researchers who might be expert in that particular field. So you can ask them that, okay, can you help me with the coding? So you have done your own coding and then you can get reviewed from the other experts also. That can also work, right? Largely not, but yes, you should. It is always good for refinement. Yes, absolutely. It is version 2. Review, that is version 2. So individual interviews coded and reviewed, that is version 2. You can say the round 2 by all experts. So it's not a one-time job that you are just doing it. Understand that कोडिंग आपका एक बार में नहीं होता है. You don't do coding once and it is free. No, you have to revisit the codes again and again, at least once, twice, thrice at times four time also. So till the time you arrived at the final categorized coding system. It's not that simple that it appears. Please let me understand that. Right? So it takes till the time you have emerged on that particular codes properly. And for that, your understanding of the data is very, very crucial. AI can only assist you, as I'm telling you again and again, but it is you who has to have the understanding of the, you can say, of the process. So please try to understand the process first, then we're going to come to AI also. Don't worry. Okay, so in case of PhD, what would be your advice? Your guide is there, na? He can help you that. Your guide is there, na? He can help you in that particular case. Now, for example, this is the Cresswell's visual model of the coding process in qualitative research. Now, for example, you have read initial reading of data you have done. That is the first step, as I told you. Now you're having many pages of text. That means lot of transcripts have been there. So what you are doing, you are dividing text into segments of information, right? Now there are many segments of text also. Now what happened? From the initial one, you got how many codes? As you could see, 30 to 40 codes have been there. Now the next step is you're reducing the overlap and redundancy, right? So you're from 30 to 40 codes in the second round of coding, it get reduced to 20. Now, when you move into the third round, the collapsing codes into themes, that is into 5 to 7 themes. So you could see 30 to 40 codes gets reduced to 20, and finally it can get reduced to even code reduced to 5 or to 7 themes. This is how the process moves. Now, open coding. Now, what are the types of coding here? Open coding, that is initial coding that you're doing, that is unrestricted coding, where the data is and where the data is broken into discrete parts, right? Codes are assigned to each segment to capture key ideas that, okay, what the data, what story data is telling us. For example, highlighting responses related to challenges faced by employee. That's an example, right? This is open coding that you're doing in the very beginning. Now that is axial coding. What is axial coding? Axial coding is where you try to establish relationship between categories and subcategories, right? Categories are there and there are subcategories. Now, identifying connection between open codes to refine categories. Example, you can see here, connecting workplace challenges we are talking about. So see, what is the first open coding we have done? Challenges faced by employees. Now, the second is connecting workplace challenges to lack of resources or team conflict. So can we do that? So you can see this is an axial coding. So somewhere I am taking one particular code, challenges faced by employees. Now what? So there you can say that okay, they are facing workplace challenges. What kind of workplace challenges? So can I say in the workplace challenges, the workplace challenges can subsume lack of resources and team conflict as a part of workplace challenges? Yes, it can be. So that means I can look here that I'm having three codes here right now, but it can be one, that is, can be part of workplace challenges. Now, selective coding when I'm talking about, identifying the core category, you can say, or central theme that connects all other codes. So can I again connect, you can say any kind of relationship has been there. So now what I'm doing, I am further refining it and integrating the data around the central concept. How I'm doing it now, for example, employee dissatisfaction. Now see, challenges faced by employees. So what does it lead to? Employee dissatisfaction? Yes or no? It leads to employee dissatisfaction. So can and when I talking about the employee dissatisfaction, I can put into the workplace challenges and in that into lack of resources and team conflicts. So this could be the sub-conflicts which can be part of it. And large, this is an example, right? Where I can do that. Now just move ahead. How it works. Open, axial and selective. From this you can easily understand. Many pages of text, that means transcript आपके पास बहुत detailed है. You are having a detailed transcripts. Many segment of text you have 30 to 40 codes. That is the open coding you have done initially. Then 30 to 40 codes got in a, you can say got generated where you are now. You can say relating. You can say the which have talked about the categories and the subcategories, then finally get reduced to 20. And then now I move into the selective coding, that is reducing codes to 5 to 7 themes. Any doubt in this particular type of coding? Is this conceptually clear? Just please put. Okay. You can just type, I think this is a very old book by Creswell. So you have to check that, I think. So this is how it happens. Now see category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can see there is a 5 categories that we can say that we have got from open coding categories that we have received. Now what I'm doing, I'm now going towards axial coding paradigm, right? Now you could see context has been there. So causal condition, core category of phenomena that you have identified, then strategies, and then finally consequences. Now what you're doing, intervening conditions, what are the intervening conditions? So grounded theories select an open coding category and use it as a core phenomena in the axial coding paradigm. So now, for example, these are certain categories that has emerged, you can say, from the initial round, and I'm working, you can say, on the grounded theory approach I have adopted. So what I'm now trying to do, I have made a core category, or you can say a particular phenomena that I have identified, and there is certain causal condition that has been there. Now finally I will lead to the strategies. You can say there's a particular context. See, qualitative research, whatever you're doing now, it is always context based. Now you're also looking for the intervening conditions, that okay, context is there are certain intervening condition that is impacting the strategies and finally leading to certain kind of consequence, or you can say because there is an underlying phenomena. Done. Now, this is how it happens. You can say again, the large quantities of raw qualitative data are focused and labeled during level 1 coding. Then you move into level 2 coding, that is focus coding, category development. Level 2 coding re-examines level 1 codes and further focuses the data. Now come to the level 3, that is the axial or thematic coding. Previous coding is started to develop highly refined things. So we are continuously refining it. See, level 1 very raw, level 2 somewhat refined, level 3 more refined, and when finally when we come to the last one, that is indicated, that is a theoretical concept that emerged from the saturated categories and themes. These are the final themes that emerged from that particular data, and this is how it moves. So level 1, level 2, level 3, and finally we get our final themes. Up till here, any doubts, please put in your chat window. I'll move slowly and gradually, please. The idea is very clear so that people can actually learn how to do it. Is it conceptually clear to everyone? I'll come to that part, don't worry. I'll show you it with the help of example when I'll do it. But right now my question is that whether you have understood the theory part. Okay. Now let's move ahead. So this is how it happens. So codes are largely conveying the central ideas, you can say, or contribution of segment of text, you can say. Text, you can say basically the things that we have got from the transcripts. Now, what are the themes? They are generally explanatory discussions of concept or ideas in text that I have already shown you in the previous slide also. And then you can say the descriptors, that is characteristics of entire text or their creators. That what? So codes leads to themes and themes lead to descriptors. And I'll show you with the help of my own paper. Don't worry. Now you could see this. Research question, why do people turn vegan? Now from this particular example only you can understand the coding process. Now see how. You have taken interview. So once the interviews have been taken, so what you are doing? You are getting interview transcripts. Yes. And from their transcripts, you are getting certain quotes or paragraphs. I always thought about the animals, they suffer a lot when we actually eat meat. Why should some animal die for us? We can very well live without meat. I think we have to act consciously. We cannot just think about ourselves. Now you just see these are the verbatims, or you can say the things which are coming from the transcripts. These are the quotes or the paragraphs that are coming from the interview transcripts. Now see, the first two quotes, can we club them and just see they have put it in one first order quote, that is animal rights. Now see the next one. I think we have to act consciously. We cannot just think about ourselves. Now the last one. Eating this much meat takes resources away from developing countries. Now see other people. Now it seems to be a health trend. It just suits my lifestyle and I want to turn really old. And I want to turn really old, you can say. So you can see now we are the hipster trend, one code, it went there. Health trend, you can see two codes. So two codes are put under one. So we got initially in the first order code, that is animal rights, other people, hipster trend and health trend. So now moving to the Second order themes, I'm further refining it. So why people don't want to eat meat or they want to turn vegan? Because of ethical reasons. Now, when I move into this, the ethical reasons. So, in the ethical reasons, these are two subcategories. That is, first, they're talking about the animal rights, they're talking about the other people also, and then they're talking about trend. So, there are two types of trend there, hipster trend and health trend. And then finally, I am rising it to the next one, that is a final order. All right, that is coding, and then finally identifying the codes. Is an example clear to somewhat extent? I think example is very clear, very clear. Coding can be done manually also. Coding can be done with the help of software also. So the NVivo, Atlas TI or any other software actually help you with this. But let me give a disclaimer. NVivo will not going to do anything for you until unless you give a command at what you want. First thing. So it has to be you and you and you whose mindset need to be very, very clear that what kind of things are coming from the data itself. See, NVivo will not going to work on its own. No? It's just like a software, garbage in, garbage out. It all depends on you that, okay, what kind of command you're giving, what kind of analysis you want from that particular software. Yes, definitely without NVivo also we can do the coding process. I'm repeating, without any, we can do manual coding. We don't need any software for that. So this is how, again, the phases of thematic analysis, familiarize yourself with the data. Then we generate the initial codes, then search for the themes, then we review themes, then we define and name themes, and then finally we produce the report. Report in the sense, we make the final presentation that, okay, these are the final themes that have emerged from the data. You can just reread again so that you can understand it. So familiarize yourself with the data, generate initial code, search for themes, review themes, define and name themes, and produce the report. So ultimately what we are doing, qualitative data you already have collected. So that means you have done coding. So the codes got emerged. Now you're doing the interactive comparison. And from those particular codes, then you emerged your themes. That is the final themes that which you are showing in your research paper that you are writing. So thematic analysis and coding. So the first is data familiarization. Again, I'm re-repeating it just for the sake of repetition so that it can get registered. Data collection and familiarization, coding process, creating initial codes, collapsing codes into themes, refining and defining themes, interpreting themes, and finally reporting the findings. So this is the process is all about. This is the manual thematic analysis, a step-by-step guide. That means you can do it manually as I told you. The first thing is, again, you can see the process is same. Whether you do it with the help of a software, whether you do it manually, that is again possible. So first of all, you should also know how to do it manually. Please don't rely on software completely. Now, again, a simplified illustration of Saldana's thematic analysis approach. Megha, if you can just stop speaking, please, that would be great. So you are having a data, you are having certain codes that you could see here. The codes are leading to a particular category. That is category 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then finally, those two, the first two categories are getting absorbed into high level category. And then the high level categories are getting into submerged into themes. So it's a very simple process, not that great, right? It's very simple and nothing difficult to understand. अब यहाँ पर थोड़ा देखते हैं, यहाँ पे देखिए थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़िए पहले से, just read it. So you could see there are 4 themes which you can see here. Recognize student well-being, best practice in well-being promotion, recognizing educator well-being, and factors inhibiting well-being promotion. 4 themes are there. Now just see what are the different sub-themes here and what is the linkage to sub-theme and what is the relationship to between themes. So please just read it first. Okay. So now in this example, we can see we are having four particular themes. And then we also have sub-themes. Now see, this is regarding factors inhibiting well-being promotion. Then recognizing student well-being and best practice in well-being promotion and recognizing educator well-being. Now see, there are certain sub-themes which have been there. Now see, the factors inhibiting well-being promotions are lack of training, time constraint, lack of value of well-being promotion, and knowledge of necessary documentation. Now these four themes, you can say the sub-themes are getting merged into one particular theme. So four larger themes and their sub-themes. Now see, second theme, recognizing student well-being. In this, we are having source or sources of negative affect, actions to improve student well-being, and then come to the best practices, that is active daily of well-being promotion. The whole school approach, the whole school approach has been there. And then when you talk about the recognizing educative well-being, it is talking about two things, that is source or negative effect and actions to improve educative well-being. Now, can we link? Now, see, there's a relationship between themes. So, the major four themes are being related to each other. There is a linkage to sub themes also. Can you see this? And does it make sense? The question is this. Please just put your things into chat window itself. Is this example clear? Okay, why we recognizing educative well-being is not connected to best practice? See, this is just an example. Right, this is just an example. So you could see that with the help of the best practices, so they are talking about recognizing student well-being and all this, recognize to well-being. That can be correct. This is as an example. So don't take it in the literal terms, right? It's just an example for understanding. All right, so I hope it is understood by everyone. So let's move ahead. So it's again, this is how it has been done. The key step, that is step-by-step process of thematic analysis to develop a conceptual model in qualitative research. So now you are having a transcript, getting familiar with the data. You are having certain keyword, that is a step 2. You can note it down, please. Selection of quotation, that you have already done. Then you are having certain keywords. Then you go to the third step of coding. From the codes, you get the themes that you name, like we have seen in the previous slide. Theme 1, theme 2, and theme 3. And then we are going for the conceptualization, that is through interpretation of keywords, codes, and themes. So see, they are submerging with each other. They are connected to each other. Interpretation has been done, and finally we come to a development of conceptual model, that is presentation of framework through arrows and boxes, and finally we name a model. So this is This is how the complete coding process takes place. Is this one clear? If you have any doubt in this particular slide, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll move ahead. Okay, so these are the triangulation research. There was some question that, okay, can we do triangulation? See, triangulation can be of different types. Understand that. The first is data triangulation. I can have data source 1, I can have data source 2. The primary and secondary data I can take. It can be methodological triangulation where I can take quantitative data, qualitative data, and third, right? Second, then is investigative triangulation, researcher one, two, three. You can do that. Theory triangulation can be done where you want to like engage theory one, theory two. All depends how skilled you are and expert you are. So this is how we can also do triangulation in the research part. And this is other common coding types. Please just go through it first and then I'll explain it in a fast mode then. And then I'll come to the practice section. Somebody asked me in vivo. That was not in vivo. That is in vivo. That is actually using the exact words or codes to capture authentic language. Where you are not tampering with, you can say, the actual statements or verbatims. Especially when you're going for the IPA methodology, you should use this on largely most of the things that you're doing. At times we have to refine, you can say the language, that's a different thing, but the essence should not be lost. Thematic, identify recurring patterns or themes across the data. Pattern coding, you can say the grouping similar coded data into smaller number of themes. And then finally, we try to identify the causal relationship or explanations. Then what is the process coding? We are assigning codes to capture actions or processes in the data. And that is basically largely very useful. You can say procedural or chronological events. That is dated events, for example, that is in a particular chronology that happens. Then emotion coding. So we are now using identifying emotions, attitude, or values expressed participant. That is also can be done. So whenever we do the sentiment analysis kind of a thing, so there what we had in sentiments, what we used to get basically emotions, anger, happiness, sadness, all these things. And these are the softwares that can be generally used. As I told you, NVivo, Atlas TI, Max QDA. So supports multimedia coding. So largely NVivo is very holistic in nature in case you really want to use a particular software. So it works very fine. And that's thank you from my side. Any doubt in the theory? If it's not, then I can close it and then I can move to the next section. You can just put in the chat window, please. I'm coming to that, Vidya. Now see, my screen is visible to everyone. Just kindly just put in the chat, please. Okay. Now see, what I'm trying to do is I'm adding certain files. So I am going to my folder. And I'm using here 2 transcripts. You can add as many as you want. Now, what kind of prompt I'm giving, now you have to understand. Analyze the given transcripts and identify initial codes and emerging. Don't disturb any, please. And emerging themes. Please look at the prompt that I'm giving. Now, before moving and giving this, let me show you the transcript. Can you say this? Are my transcript visible? Okay. Now you can see this is done with the help of Otter AI. As I was talking about, though, these were the audio files that got converted with the help of Otter AI. You can say in the transcript format. Now you can see unknown speaker. All right, unknown speaker. Then okay, another question. I would like you to give a brief introduction. Uh, and this is the discussion that has happened. You can say so. Yeah, yes, I am Chandar. I'm 35 years of age. I'm located. So now this kind of a data, understand, it's only meant for you. It is meant only for your analysis. Now, for example, that this name, age, the name should not come. First of all, that you can say any kind of information that can put a person into any kind of trouble should not be disclosed in your research. You can only use, you can say the data as per the academic requirements, but not beyond that. And you see, it is talking about it. So let me connect. And now it is talking about, now see, they are talking about sustainable clothing. And what we would like to know, have you ever purchased sustainable clothes? Because this paper that we are working on is about sustainable clothing, you can sustainable fashion, right? So this the interview is about that. So you could see they have the person has given interview, and from there you can say environment friendly material, salesperson in the store, and you could see the person has given, question has been asked, and the response has been given. See, my hard-earned money. This is transcript 1. And this is transcript 2. Could you see this? Transcribed by otter.ai. So you can also use it. So better would be you can record the conversation if the person allows you. And then you can convert that recording with the help of Otter AI. All right. You can just whenever you are taking an interview, so you can just integrate Otter AI with that. After the meeting, it can be easily get converted into the transcript. Am I clear with this? And does it help you? Okay, great. Now, these are the two transcripts that I've already given. Yeah, definitely. See, for regional languages, there is no as such software, especially if I talk about in India or in the world. So largely it should be in English language only. So please try to take the interviews in English itself. So this is a transcript. Now see, AI is helping me to convert, you can say, uh, the interview that I've taken into a transcript. Now my transcripts are ready. Earlier, this entire transcript was to prepared by the researcher itself. That, for example, you have taken an interview and then you are writing the responses question by question. Are you getting my point? So your work has now comparatively it has got reduced to a great extent. So this is first thing that you can do. So you can use Otter AI, all right, and you can integrate it when you are taking an online interview or something like that, or you are recording. So that is possible and that can be done easily. That's first step. Now let's move to another part. So I have already given it. Now have you seen, you can say the two text 18, you can say transcript 18 and transcript 19. So we have taken 17 interviews around. I'm not showing all. So I'm just taking two, you can say transcripts here. And I have given, analyze the given transcript, identify the initial codes and emerging themes in a tabular format. Following the coding process shows the steps clearly. Now let's see what kind of data we get. Okay, can you see the step one? Familiarization initial coding. So what it is talking, material is natural and chemical free. I always buy branded clothes. Sustainable clothes are cruelty free. Animal welfare preference for brand. Now you people tell me, are you able to identify the initial quotes and the codes? Is it clear up till here? AI to convert audio to text transcript. You can use Otter AI. Otter AI. All right, I'll discuss it about again. Yeah. So this is first familiarization, initial coding, for example. Now grouping. So what kind of things are coming? Codes with similar meanings are grouped into categories like product, attributes, personal values, emotional benefit. These are certain categories that emerged from this particular from familiarization, initial coding. You grouped it into categories. And then finally, you are able to identify the emerging themes. How it is emerging? Now let's see. Eco-friendly, these are the initial codes. Eco-friendly, biodegradable material. Category could be product features. Emerging themes could be environmental consciousness. Does it make sense? Now, first of all, I would like to ask, just please go through this final table and let me know that are you people able to understand it? I'm putting this, it's not getting. Okay, okay, okay. Now see. Second is branded clothing. Zara, H&M, Decathlon, purchase behavior, brand trust and recognition. Now see, these are the initial codes. Then the categories are coming up. And then the themes are emerging. And see how many are been there. Tell me. Tell me the numbers also. Let's move. So initially, how many it has been given? 24. 24 get into 10 and then 10 went to 6. Can you see this? Product features, eco-friendly, breathability, initial codes with examples. Emerging themes, these are the emerging themes. Now I am putting this in your chat window. Just keep a note of it. Okay, sir, can we take it as it is or we need to paraphrase? No, you can take it as it is because it is your work, but you need to just double check it whether it making sense or not, right? Now just see. This is what you can see from the two transcripts that I have like analyzed in front of you. Up till here, any doubt, please let me know before I move to the next slide. Next step. Any doubt up till here? No. Okay then. Great. Now see, this is what it is coming up, right? Now I'll show you. So we had almost lot many respondents. Can you see my slide? Now you could see this is my sheet one, and this is what you can say the initial coding that we have done. All right. So these are different respondents. And from their interview, these are the certain things that came up. Now see, material used in the fabric, you could see the numbers. In some places, it is around 30. See, the price, it's some things are common, some things are not. You just have a look at it. And this we have done. So I have also coded, my other co-authors I have also coded, and these are certain common themes. So what are the final themes that emerge that I will show you, and then you can just match it with the themes that I have pasted, you can say in your chat window. Now see, make sense? I hope it is clear. Let's move ahead. Now these are the initial coding that I have done. Price, comfort, durability, long last, quality. These are my initial things. See how many I have taken. Confidence. Can you see this? Now from this, I am putting the themes. Initial coding मैंने कर ली है. Now I am getting themes. So price बहुत ऊपर बार बार बात हुई है. Can I put all these things together into environmentally friendly material? I can. People have talked about comfort. They have talked about long last, long life of fabric, no glove fastness, durability, quality, limited variability. They talked about physical health and all that. So I put physical well-being, care for animals, good for planet, brand, lightweight, conserve financial resources, size and fit, feeling joy, psychological well-being, color, care for workers. अब ये बताइए. Now just check the codes that I have generated initially. How many you can say are mapping? Ethical living and animal welfare. Care for animals and ethical living for animal welfare. Can we take it that they are synonymous? Somehow you can say it is somewhat similar. When I'm talking about value for money and financial discipline, environmental consciousness, so environmental friendly material, does it work? Social image and acceptance. Now see, brand, lightweight, financial resources. So can you see the similarities that have been there? The similarities you can see here, and what has been taken out from only two transcript, because we have analyzed 17 transcripts, right? After that, we came to certain things. So, but are there any similarities that you could see that I got from AI and that we have done manually? I want that answer, please. Yes, it will be described. Yes. Similarities are there. Yes, emerging themes, that is the final one, that is the selective coding. Single word document of the transcript. You can add as many as you want. If it is a paid version, you can do whatever you want to do with the ChatGPT. It works very well. Better would be if you can do it separately, because or in a one file also it will work. Up till here, any doubt? Now these are certain things that we have done manually. And I have also shown you the same thing with the help of AI, my friends. Now, can you please Now see, if we have seen my papers carefully, am I showing the verbatims in a similar way? Am I showing the theme 1? Am I showing the theme 2? Definition it is giving, but I am what I'm doing. I am explaining this value for money and financial discipline. Social image and acceptance, am I doing it? Psychological and emotional well-being, am I doing it? Ethical living and welfare. Now explain themes. Not see. Now I'm giving add verbatims also justify the themes description. जो description दिया है. Let's see what comes. Any doubts? Vidya, I would like to ask no from you. Is it clear up till now? Now see, this is what it has given. So, but can I put it as it is in my research paper? You tell me what should be the answer. What should be the answer? No. We cannot put it as it is. We have to refine it further. But at least I can get an idea that, okay, what it is indicating to words, I can further refine it. Now see, I'll show you from my paper, like what are the final themes that we have finally got it. Hmm. Let me just show you my paper. Now these are the final, you can say, uh, themes that we identified after. So I have taken motivators and demotivators. So demotivators are variety, colors, and lack of awareness. That is why they don't want to go for sustainable, you can say fashion kind of a thing. And these are certain concerns that are being there in it. Timeless collection, moral responsibility. So whatever the themes are being shown, it doesn't mean that it has to go as it is. I have to rename it properly so that it can reflect what the actual analysis, or you can say the actual themes that are emerging from the data. I showed it you for 2 transcript, but this is for the 17. And then accordingly, we have actually discussed and have shown everything here. You can see there. And I am putting the participant 3, P17 and all these things. So these are certain things which have been coming. So I think we have fairly covered the today's topic. Now I can uh, I can take any questions that you people are having. So I think we talked about coding today. We talked about the types of coding today, why we are doing coding, and what is the reason and what are the various steps of coding. All right. And how we used to familiarize ourselves with the initial data familiarization happens. And then we identify the initial coding, and then we used to get, you can say, the initial themes and the sub themes and then final themes, and then finally till the time we emerged at the final themes, we continue the process, right? And we discussed about the process with the help of AI also, that how I can actually use AI for doing the identification of the themes from the transcript that is been available. So any doubt from any person? I'm open to questions now. From my side, it is done. I have tried my best so that at least you can just make a sync and you can like understand and you can correlate whatever we have studied today. So I talked about the coding, all right, and how we can do it with the help of ChatGPT. That is possible. So somewhere you can see they are not completely wrong, but it all depends that whether I want to take, you can say, this as it is, or I want to make certain changes to it so that it becomes better and reflects the actual thing. Because see, this is ChatGPT's version, it's not your version. So you need to know your data first. So the thing which I'm getting from ChatGPT, the same thing you are getting from the NVivo also. Now see, let's play a little bit about it. Can I create a word cloud? Now see. Okay, so can you see this word cloud? Interesting. These are the initial codes that have emerged. Okay, I can get the theme map also. It is asking whether Okay, sorry for the glitch. So we were discussing about that how to move ahead, and I'll take some questions also. Okay, so this is what we were doing. So this was a word cloud that we have done, and then I will say that okay, download initial codes word cloud and additional visualization. Like for example, give me theme map and category category chart also. In the meanwhile, if there are any other questions also, please just put it. Okay. So you could see this. So whatever we have taken earlier, this is a theme map that you could see, and there's a relationship also which is being shown among the various theme. You can say the initial codes that has been developed. So I'm just putting save image as downloads. I'll put it. Yes. And moreover, if I want a category chart also, I can do that. So this is what you can do. This is how the category chart is also coming in. Now see, this is just an example which I have shown you, right? So I think now I can just take your questions now. Not audible. Okay. See the other, Dr. Roy, there are many other tools which you can use, but they are generally paid, right? So I am just giving you Chat GPT, all right? Because will not be plagiarized. No, it won't be plagiarized for the simple reason because it has been generated with the help of the data that you have given into it. It's not something which is generating on its own. It is based on the data that you're using it, right? Apart from ChatGPT, whether you use Gemini, whether you use DeepSeek or any other, it works fine. It works similarly. Study type will be applicable what? As in, Sebidas, your topic, your question is not understandable, please. Can we use ChatGPT general out? Will not be plagiarized? No, it won't be plagiarized, as I've told you. Explain the member checking and audit trials are these mandatory in all quality research types? Yes, definitely. Whenever, especially when you're going for the experimental kind of a thing, or whenever there is when animals and the humans are involved, you can say in your study, so you have to take a permission from the from ethics clearance committee. You have to tell that what kind of study you're doing, and what could be the probable, you can say, harm that can happen. You have to disclose everything, right? And once you have got the permission, then you can take it forward. Moreover, it depends upon the kind of study that you are doing, right? Uh, and how many people are involved into it. So your research objectives basically decides largely that what kind of research methodology will be used, all right, and what kind of coding process you would like to go ahead with. So whether and accordingly you can take the process forward. But generally, you can say the process is similar. Some examples showed up to theme generation in some theme development and some conceptual model where study time will be applicable. See, it all depends on what kind of study you're doing. It is applicable for all the kind of studies. It all depends at what kind of things you want to show in your research paper. So if you already having my research papers which are recently published also. So please just go through it once and then you can understand it, right? So it all depends. So I have shared you with different kind of research methodology, like papers on various research methodologies, where they have used, you can say, the coding process, but it is the same process which has been followed, but definitely the themes will be different as per the requirement of this. You can say the themes that will emerge, that will be as per the data which is available, and the kind of analysis that has been done by the researchers. Right? Any other questions? Otherwise, we can just call for today's session. No questions? Okay, that's nice. For review paper, the methodology. See, it is not, we are not, we are talking here about a qualitative study. We are not talking here about SLR or bibliometrics, right? Because generally review papers are based on SLR, or you can say the critical review studies which have been there. So please put your questions in a particular frame, please. I will not advise to publish in paid journals until unless it's a very good journal, you can say, and you want to publish it into open access. So open access journal has been there, that too of a high quality, because it goes through a particular peer review and all that. And after that, you are getting certain kind of funding and all that. Then you can get it published in open access and let everybody read it. But just to increase the count or something like that, please avoid giving any money for your publication. That is not a good practice. You should not. Okay, how to identify participant? This is a very basic question. I mean, see, when you are designing your research methodology, I think that time only you know na, that what kind of what is the research question, what methodology will be there, what will be the participant, who will be the you can say the participant or you can say the respondent who can fit into your research methodology. For that, you have to do your LR properly. You have to do your background work. From there, you can easily get that, okay, how many participants should I take and who should be my participant and all that. Okay, how to identify participant? Is it before the transcript is done? Obviously, यार, until unless you have a participant, how you can transcribe, right? Interview लोगे उसके बाद ही transcript बनेगी ना आपकी. See, there is no as such specific journals where qualitative research papers are getting published. You can get it published anywhere. That's not a problem until unless there are certain specific journals who says that we accept a particular kind of studies only. So there are a lot many. I generally follow ABDC list, you can say. So, and which are almost, you can say. So I generally ABDC list, which are listed both in ABDC plus Scopus index. All right. So already there is a Elsevier's list. Scopus की आप list निकाल सकते हैं, and then you can publish it. That is Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 categories. So you can do that. Okay. So Vidya, I have already like shared lot of my papers which have been written by me, right? So you can just have a look at them. So I have shared my papers also. I have shared some other papers also, so that you can get a different perspectives also for the same. Uh, okay, in mixed methodology, see mixed methodology where you are actually putting both qualitative and quantitative, you can say studies all together. So I will share some paper with mixed methodology also so that you can get some more clarity. And when we are talking about experiences, it's not about experiences. In some paper you would like to go for phenomenology study, somewhere you want to go for ethnography. So you have to first decide now what kind of study you are interested in and what kind of study you want to take it forward. And then you create a research design, you can say, for yourself. That okay, mixed methodology, what you want to do. Now you need to be clear with that. Okay, sir, as we're using okay, we are using mainly, for example, open code, duplicate difficulty. Please, difficulty we are analyzing it advisable to use ChatGPT. See, as I told you, please do it manually first, and then with the help of ChatGPT, it is again the one more layer to validate whatever you are doing. So you can identify the similarities. So definitely, and everything given by ChatGPT is not wrong. Understand that I have told you. So first you need to get yourself familiarized with the data. Don't put everything you can say on the chat GPT first. First do it manually, right? Or do it with the help of other software like NVivo, at least or whatever, or chat GPT. But map it, no? That does it making sense? Whatever the chat GPT has given, is the data telling the same story? So you have to verify that. Scopus, index free journals. See, all the good journals which are indexed in Scopus, they don't charge anything from you. So they are absolutely free. Please don't fall prey for any kind of paid journals. I strongly condemn it. Please don't do that. Yes, absolutely. You can go for grounded theory also. You can use chat GPT. It's not a problem. As I told, it's again same and same. You can use it, but you cannot completely rely on that. You need to do it also on yourself also. Na? Sir, you will going to validate it. Your co-researchers and co-authors will going to validate it. That's the process of doing it. The experts do that. But generally, we don't go to certain other experts. They don't do it. The researchers themselves validate it. So that is why you do the independent coding. Researcher 1, researcher 2, researcher 3. So when all three are doing and then they are clubbing it together, then they're comparing and then they're coming. So I think it gets get validated. Simple. Okay, so I think that's it for today. So thank you very much for the patient listening, and I hope like whatever the agenda we have taken for today, we have tried to achieve that. So thank you very much, and I hope whatever we discussed, I was able to communicate to it, and it might have like solved a lot of your queries. And I think it has been at least some idea you might have got about coding and how we can do coding with the help of ChatGPT and also manually how we can do it, right? So thank you very much. Have a good night and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. The session was quite informative, and I would like to thank participants also for their active participation. See you all in the next session tomorrow. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, everyone.